emphasizing possibilities. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce an entrepreneur who is inspiring and creating change in our communities by speaking about culture matters. Thank you, Jay.
All right, let me make sure I can stand because I have to move around. So I want to talk about labels and how they limit, if we let them limit us. This is a woman that founded an organization with the idea that the limitations of these labels placed on us in life doesn't have to be there when people are inspired to something and understand how to do a specific skill to add value to others. I want to share with you a real life story. It was 1991 in October when a woman in her early 30s ran into a Newark police station telling the officers at the front desk that the mafia was chasing her. Unfortunately, this woman didn't know she was in a schizophrenic episode. She dropped this baby boy off, not wanting that they give him up, but having him taken from her because she was diagnosed with manic disorder, bipolar disorder, schizophrenic disorder. And unfortunately, even though this woman went to college, having grown up in a family home where her parents fought every single day and she started drinking at 7 years old and drugs at 12 years old, they couldn't figure out if it was genetics or if it was her environment that caused her to go into this episode. About a year ago, before I had, or after I had met the leaders of this organization, I got a letter in the mail. In the first page, Linda Doran, 5'5", 154 pounds, beautiful blue eyes, could get along with anyone, could talk to anyone, had to give up her son, Jay Doran. And I'm reading this, and I'm thinking, okay, well, this makes sense. How could in 26 years, having started multiple businesses and failing them, having getting kicked out of 2 high schools and not passing them, be who I am today to be able to do this when maybe the world would have limited me to, he must be predisposed to manic disorder, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia, and all of his family is drug addicts and alcoholics. So what does this all have to do with business? Well, Culture Matters helps CEOs figure out what their values are so they can train their employees. Interestingly enough, Nancy had a brilliant idea through her life experiences to cut to the chase and enroll and attract individuals who may be disabled to train them to be successful in businesses. So I want to share with you another story. About 2 years ago, after I had left that business that had been built on culture, had been built on purpose, to pursue what I do today, I'm reading a book by Richard Koch. And in the book, he's talking, it's called Good Profit, and he has a company that was private, it has about a $100 billion market cap, and in the book, he's talking about Fortune 100 companies. And they did a study in Fortune 100 companies in 1913, where they took the top 100 companies in America, and then they waited almost 100 years later to poll them again and see, well, where are these companies? Anyone want to guess how many of those Fortune 100 companies are still on that list? Anybody? Well, that already shows our culture. 7 are on the list, 87 are out of business, and 13 exist. And those aren't the disabled people? So I'm reading this, and I'm thinking, that's like Usain Bolt winning 5 gold medals in one day, and then the next day he's like completely out of shape. Meaning those companies had market share, they had branding, they had the consumer's attention, they had all the things that they need to be successful, but they went out of business. Well, why? The reason is, when we actually do the research, we actually do the study, they don't proactively enroll the values of the company and train their people. Meaning, they don't do what Nancy's doing. So now I'm like, whoa, this is huge. What can I do to change this? And in that time is when I actually met, this is a why am I here? I met, there's a few people in this room that are part of this organization, that are leaders in this organization. Nancy, Christine, Sherry, Lori, the disabled guy who started a business locally on a credit card and a vision that was massively successful for this little glimmer of time when everyone showed up from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock for those daily meetings to learn exactly what they had to do to be successful, but then fizzled out when what was done to make it successful stopped because the person that was doing that, myself, left to pursue Culture Matters. The women in this room were there when I left all of my belongings at my house to move into someone's apartment couch to start my company. That's why I'm here. The women that were here, Lori, from the spot, Sherry, Nancy, they may have thought I was crazy, but they believed in me like, we should believe in the people that are labeled as disabled. We don't know enough about the mind to know if anyone's disabled. If you think that, you have a problem. So you start this Hampton House to attract people who have strong character, which all companies are founded on, and train them on the exact skill sets necessary to be successful in their jobs. You know the crazy part? There's companies that are out of business. They have 100% to 1,000% on average turnover. That's the normal companies. They have 66% of their employees are actively disengaged at work. Those are the non-disabled people. I'm sorry about you, but knowing that makes me angry. This is not like a handout for disabled people. This is called an organization that is attracting people that want to work, where 85% of autistic adults don't have jobs, but they want to work. Like Betsy, for 10 years she's working every day. More focused than the millennials that don't know what they want to do. And they're trained specifically on the skill sets to be successful. So fast forward 2 years, after these women let me stay in their basement so I could figure out how to start this new company, and now today I have 10 employees and I'm coaching public figures and tops of real estate, which you can look up on YouTube for Doran. Start from scratch. I couldn't have done that if they labeled me as the crazy guy, and then finding out last year that the odds are, listen, I haven't been tested, I'm not saying that, but when your whole entire biological family has schizophrenia, bipolar, manic, you know why drinking on Friday is not a good idea anymore. And it doesn't get more real than that. So I'm here because of these women, and after actually doing research, watching Temple Grandin talk about, there would be no spears if the social people were on the campfire were talking too much, who's gonna make the spear? I'm like, that lady's smart. If you haven't seen Temple Grandin, who knows who that is? Okay. After doing my research, right? I'm here because these women were here because they didn't label me for being the crazy guy that left his business all of a sudden to do something he was passionate about, which aligns with what this is. They didn't label me, they believed in me, and if they didn't do that, who knows? Maybe I wouldn't be impacting the people that we're impacting in our company now. Maybe I wouldn't be speaking at high schools like we are now. Maybe we wouldn't be speaking at colleges like we are this Friday at the University of Penn Bookstore. Maybe we wouldn't be doing that because Linda wasn't there. I'm here today because of these women and because what they stand for is exactly what I coach every single day when I work with executives and businesses. We have them get clear on their values, and we train their employees on communication, leadership, and marketing through those values. It's the same thing. And we're only as disabled as we decide we are. And that's coming from someone that definitely on paper looks pretty disabled. So I appreciate everyone here today. I hope that was 10 minutes. It's hard to get 26 years in 10 minutes. I don't do scripts. I'm real, but here I am. And I wish you the best.
Thank you, Jamie Doran from Culture Matters.